Another week has come and gone, and we have new insights, pops on the used car market from our friends at Black Book and on the new car market from our friends over at Cox Automotive. Let's start with used cars.
Since you have that on the screen, absolutely.
All right, Dad. This week,
Yes.
the market was about the same as the prior week in terms of overall wholesale used car prices. They declined by 0.15%. However,
Yes.
cars,
Yes.
they started to appreciate. And in the truck and SUV segment, we saw some steeper depreciation. When you read through this, what went through your mind? What did you see?
Gas prices are finally starting to have an impact on some wholesale values, whether it be car or truck. Some are going up because of the gas prices going up, and some are depreciating much more rapidly than they had been because the gas prices are so high.
Full-size crossovers and SUVs were down 1.7% this past week at the wholesale auctions.
Oh, and the entire market was only down
0.15%.
0.15%? Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's staggering.
That's like about 12 times.
Yeah. Now, on the car side...
That's 12x, as you like to
12x?
say.
Yeah, come on. 12 times. I was...
12x.
On the car side, Dad.
Yeah.
Subcompact cars and compact cars appreciated significantly.
Yes.
Compact cars were up 0.45%, nearly half of a point week over week. Subcompact cars up 0.37%.
You know, it just goes to show that as gas prices go up, eventually the smaller, more fuel-efficient cars are going to appreciate more quickly, and the less fuel-efficient vehicles, like those full-size SUVs, are going to depreciate more rapidly. What the tax man taketh, YAA giveth. Now through April 18th, get 20% off. Just type in tax.
And we know this from talking to the team over at Black Book. Rental car companies are at the auctions. They're the ones bidding up cars. They're bidding up the compact and subcompact cars. They're not as aggressively pursuing the big full-size SUVs. That's where you're seeing a lot of the price pressure coming from.
Well, and they're bidding them up because they can't get them from the manufacturers. The manufacturers have put off building their fleet units for their fleet customers because they're more interested in getting as many of the vehicles that they can produce into the ultimate retail customers' hands. So rental car companies are forced to get creative. And part of their creativity is to go to the auctions and bid up the 1, 2, and 3-year-old low-mileage compact cars, or go to the dealers that have some and offer to buy them off of the dealers' lots at retail.
Now, last week, we talked about, for the first time, we saw this phenomena of 8 to 16-year-old wholesale used car prices going up significantly. That continued again this week.
Yes.
8 to 16-year-old used cars increased in price by 0.18% at the wholesale auctions, again, while the overall market, or the market for 2 to 8-year-old vehicles, declined 0.15%. That's a big delta difference between the two. That's a gap that's significant. Wholesale prices for old used cars continues to appreciate, and that is primarily a function of, and is the phenomena of, there are no longer price-accessible, affordable cars.
Yes, and so what's happening is the vehicles that should appreciate the least, or probably depreciate the most, are appreciating the most. And that's because there's nothing available in the $5,000 to $10,000, maybe even there's very little
Nothing in the
available.
$5,000 to $20,000.
There's very little available in the $5,000 to $15,000 range. In order to find something that is, people are looking at 10, 12, 15-year-old cars that in many cases are worn out and probably in some cases aren't even roadworthy.
Pops, you know how we have our own car search?
I've heard.
We've got nationwide.
Yes.
So I just put nationwide. And let's do nationwide. Total price is less than $15,000. And let's say year of the vehicle is 2005 and up? 2010 and up? Let's do 2010 and up. I just want to get a sense of how many.
Do 2006 and up. That's 16 years.
170,000 vehicles nationwide for sale that are under $15,000 and are newer than a 2006.
Wow. Yeah.
That's not a lot.
No, let's go out and get that Jaguar XJ with 123,000 miles. I mean, what could possibly be wrong with that car?
And Pops, there's probably a bunch of BS listings in here too. Like, to be candid and clear, no, I mean, some of these are just probably like stuck in our database. So there are very few. Total nationwide, we see, what was the inventory? Let's double check. A little over, 2.8 million.
Yeah.
Less than 5% of inventory is going to be at that price point you were just talking about. That is insane. Let's jump over to the new car market, Dad.
Okay.
We got a monthly report from Cox Automotive, their Kelley Blue Book arm. This is the third month in a row,
Yes.
ta-da, that we've seen new car prices decline.
The average new car transaction price has declined, even though it still stands
Above MSRP.
Yeah, it still stands above MSRP and at a whopping almost $46,000 is the average new car transaction price. I'll say it again. Who can afford to buy a new car? The numbers, the asking prices are staggering. And people are still paying, the majority of people are still paying more than MSRP in order to be able to buy one of these.
New vehicle inventory's days supply was in the low 30s in March, while customer demand remained high. These conditions enabled dealers to continue selling inventory at or above the MSRP. In March, new vehicles from Kia, Honda, and Mercedes-Benz were transacting on average between 7.8 and 9.8%.
Let's call
over.
it 8 to 10% over.
On the other side of the spectrum, Volvo, Buick, and Lincoln were selling around 1% below MSRP.
Well, out of those three, there could be a Volvo in my future.
You're buying your Mini. Come on.
Yes.
Now, let's look at this, Dad. New vehicle average transaction price changes month over month by segment saw only cars increasing and all other segments decreasing. Does that mirror what we're seeing in the used car market?
I would think so, yes.
Cars had an average transaction price of $41,570 in March, a $216 increase month over month, with an average transaction price of $47,024. Vans saw their largest decrease of $983 in March, followed by trucks, $54,622 average transaction price. That's insane with a 288 decrease month over month. That's insane. These numbers are insane.
And how many of those trucks, just between you and me, do you think people are buying because they're using them as work trucks?
Maybe the vans.
The vans, yes. But most of the pickup trucks, I got to believe, I don't know this for a fact, but I got to believe that greater than 50% of them are just being used as everyday drivers and not as work-type vehicles.
Yep.
It seems to me if you wanted to save some money in America today and get a new car, well, you do just that. You'd buy a car, not a pickup.
Let's read this out here. SUVs decreased by $162 to an average transaction price of $44,645. Meanwhile, vans still had the lowest incentives, expressed as a percentage of average transaction price at 1.6%, and trucks at the highest at 3.7%. Incentives dropped to a record low level in March, averaging only 3.2% of the average transaction price. Look at this chart. This is insane. The blue line, how much money we save. Bloop.
Yes.
The orange line, how much money we pay. Bloop. What the hell?
I just don't know how. I mean, I get that there's a market, and I get that there's people that are still in the market. I just don't understand how they afford to be in the market. I'm not poor by any respect, but I couldn't afford to go out and spend that type of money. The average automobile loan payment in America is approaching $700 a month. I'm sorry, I don't have $700 a month, and I have no expenses. I don't have $700 a month to put towards just a car payment. That doesn't include the insurance. It doesn't include the gas. It doesn't include depreciation and maintenance.
The average cost of ownership for a vehicle, AAA put this out, it was like 2 years ago. The average cost $7,500 a year.
Oh, I think it's more than that.
It's got to be more than that.
I think it's about $12,500 today.
I bet you it is. How the hell do you afford? Anyway,
I don't know. And then you have to pay, and then you have to pay for your health insurance on top of all that, and that's not getting any cheaper. And that has unusually high deductibles. I don't know how people do it. I really don't. I'm not just trying to be funny when I say it. I don't.
No, I know. That's the data. That's the market update. We've got some interesting things that we're hearing from some of our friends that are in the industry. We'll save that for another episode because the question a lot of people are going to ask is like, so when does it change?
The winds
Stay tuned.
The winds of change are not blowing.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, we're hearing some things that are not so sunny. That's the update for this week. Stay tuned. We'll be back again next week.
The only thing that seems to be blowing is pollen, and it's kicking my butt.
You look good.
Well, thank you.